Welcome to WeLearn, Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 18 of India Earliest Times to the 8th Century AD, and the chapter is Magadhan Territorial Expansion. Topics to be covered are Introduction, Location of Magad, Note on Sources, Political History of Pre-Mauryan Magad, Notion of Empire, Origin of Mauryan Rule, Ashoka Maurya. Introduction. The Magadhan kingdom began to grow during the 6th century BC itself. However, this process accelerated considerably under the Nandas and the Mauryas. The location of the Ashokan inscriptions indicate that a major part of the Indian subcontinent, excluding the eastern and southern extremities, had come under Magadhan suzerainty. We shall introduce you to the view that the composition and texture of the Magadhan Empire in its various parts was so diverse that to be able to hold it together, direct political control was probably difficult. So the Magadhan kingdoms began to grow during 6th century BC, and it accelerated hugely under Nandas and Mauryas. So, a location of Ashokan inscriptions also indicate the major part of Indian subcontinent, and that also came under Magadhan superiority. And also the texture of the Magadhan Empire was also diversified in various parts, and it had direct political control, but that was, again, to exercise that was difficult. Location of Magad. The Mahajanpadas were located over a major part of the Ganga valley, with a few to the northwest and southwest of it. However, of the four most powerful kingdoms, three, Kosala, the Vaji Confederacy, and Magad, lay in the middle Ganga valley, and the fourth, Avanti, was in western Malwa. The kingdoms that surrounded Magad were Anga in the east, the Vaji Confederacy to the north, to its immediate west the kingdom of Kasi, and further west the kingdom of Kosola. Note on sources. Some of the texts of the Buddhist tradition are compiled as the Tripitakas and the Jatakas. Those pertaining to the early Jain tradition are the Akaranga Sutra and Sutra Kritanga, which are considered earlier than the others. All these were, however, written or compiled well after the 6th century BC at different times. Foreign sources of information which are considerably more relevant and are near contemporary are accounts gathered from classical writings in Greek and Latin. So some of the texts of the Buddhist tradition are also compiled as Tripitakas and Jatakas, and these pertaining to the Jain tradition are the Akaranga Sutra. So all these were written or even compiled well after 6th century BC. And there were also foreign sources of information which were quite relevant and which were contemporary, and the accounts gathered were in Greek and Latin from there. Political history of pre-Mauryan Magad. Under Bimbisara, who was a contemporary of the Buddha and who, like the Buddha, lived in the 6th to 5th century BC, Magad emerged as a controller of the middle Ganga plains. Bimbisara is considered to be the first important ruler of Magad. With political foresight, he realized the importance of establishing dynastic relations through marriage with the royal house of Kosala. Through this alliance, he acquired a part of the district of Kasi as dowry. So, Bimbisara was the first important ruler of Magad. In 6th to 5th century BC, he emerged as a controller of the middle Ganga plains, and also he had political foresight. With that, he realized the importance of establishing dynastic relations, and he married and he got the royal house of Kosala in his dowry. He had cordial relations with the king of Gandhara also. These diplomatic relations can be considered as a sign of the strength of Magad. So diplomatic relations led to the strength of Magad, and it led to unity and strength. Notion of empire. Before we talk of the Mauryan Empire, let us try to understand what an empire means. This is necessarily because we often indiscriminately use the term empire in relation to all types of kingdoms or states. Further, we somehow seem to think that ancient, medieval, and modern empires were all identical in nature. Obviously, the nature of the British Empire of modern times or even the Central Asian Mongol Empire of the medieval times could not have been identical with the nature of the Mauryan Empire. So the British Empire of the modern times or even the Central Asian Mongol Empire also of the medieval times, they are not identical with the nature of the Mauryan Empire. So they are different, they are not identical. And this is basically, an empire is used in relation to kingdoms or states. So different states or kingdoms are included in an empire, and it is used in a broad sense. And also The ancient, medieval, and modern empires are all identical in nature. Modern views on definition of empire. Most often, empire is understood to designate a political system which has under a central control a vast expanse of territories, not all of which are necessarily culturally homogeneous. So, not all culturally homogeneous territories are there. Some heterogeneous territories, states, or elements or places are under its vast control. The center in this definition is embodied either in the person of the king or emperor or in the political institution which is organized to hold together the territories under one control. So basically it covers the king or the emperor and the political institution through which the king or the emperor exercises control, and he is organized to hold together the territories under one control. The term imperial comes from the Latin word imperium. This indicates relative concentration of authority at the center. So imperial means the concentration of authority or the concentration of the power as well as the authority towards the center. Indian notion of Chakravarti Kshetra. In understanding the Mauryan phase of the Magadhan Empire or indeed any other empire of ancient India, it may be useful to know how an ideal emperor was viewed in ancient literature. The idea of an emperor is expressed through the Sanskrit term Chakravarti and the sphere of his imperial rule by the term Chakravarti Kshetra. There is no doubt that the Chakravarti ideal reflected conventional ideas about Indian rulers' sphere of influence, and in fact it was an ideal never achieved except perhaps by Ashoka. So, the Chakravarti, the ideal that reflected conventional ideas about Indian rulers, how he should rule and what would be his sphere of influence, and that ideal was never achieved except by Ashoka. Origin of Mauryan rule. It has been suggested by D.D. Kosambi that the most immediate and unexpected byproduct of Alexander's invasion of the northwest was that it hastened the Mauryan conquest of the whole country. He has argued thus because since the tribe of Punjab had already been weakened, it was not difficult for the Magadhan army under Chandragupta to conquer the whole of Punjab, since it was already weakened under the since the tribe of Punjab had already been weakened, and it was not difficult for the Magadhan army under the Chandragupta to conquer the whole of Punjab. According to classical sources, Chandragupta is supposed to have even met Alexander and advised him to attack Magad, which was under the unpopular rule of the Nandas. Ashoka Maurya. Till about 1837 AD, Ashoka Maurya was not a very well known king. In that year, James Prinsep deciphered a Brahmi inscription referring to a king called Devanampiya Piyadasi. This was compared with what was known from the Sri Lankan chronicle Mahavamsa, and then it could be established that the king of the inscription was indeed Ashoka Maurya. The fame of Ashoka is due to the fact that he turned away from war and tried to establish a system of rule based on principle of Dhamma. So Ashoka did not indulge in war. He turned away from war and tried to establish a system of rule and order based on the principle of Dhamma. Peace, law and order and justice. The Kalinga War. During his father's reign, Ashoka served as a viceroy at Ujjain and also at Taxila. It suggested that he was sent to Taxila for a special purpose, namely to quell a revolt. After being successful at Taxila, the Buddhist sources tell us he was sent to Ujjain as viceroy. The events in his personal life, like his marriage to Vidisha merchant's daughter and the birth of their two children Mahinda and Sangamita, are said to have a great influence in turning Ashoka towards Buddhism. Magad at Ashoka's death. The location of the various rock edicts and pillar edicts through which Ashoka preached his policy of Dhamma gives us a fair idea of the extent of the Magad Empire during his reign. There are 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and some minor rock inscriptions which give us the information. The major rock edicts are located at Shahzabgari and Maneshra near Peshawar, Kalsi near Dehradun, Sopara in Thana district, Girnar near Junagadh in Kathiawad, Dhauli near Bhubaneswar, and Jogada in Gangam district of Orissa. That was all about the empire as well as the rule of the Magad. These are some of the questions. You have to do it yourself. Question number 1. To what extent do you think that the Nanda rule in Magad was significant? Write in 5 lines. And question number 2. Write a note in about 5 to 6 lines on why there was a change in the policy of conquest under Ashoka. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.